Lots of women are buying guns and learning how to use them. Dakota Adelphia, director of San Diego's A Girl and a Gun, is here to talk about it.
But first, if you have legal matters that involve firearms, then you need to call our California firearms lawyer, John Dillon, especially if you have questions about red flag laws, gun registration, gun transportation, or maybe you just need to know your guns are California compliant. Call our trusted firearms attorney, John Dillon. John Dillon specializes in California gun laws. You can call him at 760-642-7150 or just visit his website at DillonLawGP.com.
A Girl and a Gun is a fantastic program, and it's actually, I believe it's nationwide, but it's definitely very popular here in San Diego. A lot of women are involved. They do a fantastic job, and we have their fearless leader, Dakota Adelphia, on the line here to talk about it. How are you, Dakota?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you for being on the show. Dakota Adelphia, right? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little tricky. Dakota Adelphia.
Adelphia. Okay, you have to tell me that you have a brother named Phil.
Oh, my gosh.
Thankfully, my parents named him Luke, a very normal name.
Opportunity of a lifetime. So talk about A Girl and a Gun.
Yeah, so I'm the facilitator for the San Diego chapter. We have chapters all over the country. The organization is headquartered in Texas and run by Robin Sandoval, who I actually think has been on this show.
She has, yeah.
She's a fantastic woman. I'm very happy to work under her in the organization. And our national director of training is Tatiana Whitlock.
Yeah, she's been on the show too. She's done training for us. She was a keynote speaker at our gun prom 3-4 years ago. Yeah, something like that.
Awesome. Yeah, she's amazing. She has so many great ideas, and part of her being involved was really kind of making the training aspect of A Girl and a Gun a priority. And, you know, it really is one of the things I love about A Girl and a Gun, because to even be a trainer for our club, there's like half a dozen things you need to do. You have to, you know, take a Stop the Bleed class and pass the FBI qual with a 90% or better. There's some other online courses you have to take about confidently communicating with students and range protocols, and you have to be a range safety officer, a certified instructor, all these things. And so they really have high standards for people who are involved.
Let's take that piece by piece. So you have to pass the FBI quals. Tell people what that means.
So the FBI qual is kind of a national standard that the FBI actually uses to certify their field agents. So you have to get a 90% or better on it, which is the standard that the FBI pistol instructors are held to. So if you want to teach for the FBI, that's the standard you're held to, and that's the standard that we're held to as well. There's a lot of different things involved in that qualification. There's some kind of close range shooting all the way out to 25 yards, and some dominant hand and non-dominant hand shooting as well. So you get some single-handed shooting involved in that qual. There's reloads. It kind of covers a wide variety of shooting. There's a stage where you actually kneel. So a pretty well-rounded qualification that's used by agencies and organizations all over.
I think you have to do a flip on a dance floor without your gun falling out of your holster too. Isn't that a part of that FBI qual? No, I'm just kidding. That's an old reference from a video.
Not quite.
No. Okay. All right. So you also have to take a course on how to communicate. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so A Girl and a Gun has an online program that you go through about confidently communicating with students. They really just want to make sure that if you are representing their organization, that you're doing it well. And so whenever I have someone who's interested in volunteering to help me with the San Diego chapter, you know, they have to go through a lot, you know, most of these steps to be an actual certified trainer. We accept some volunteers who, you know, are not certified trainers, but if you want to, like, perhaps assistant instruct with one of our official classes, if I'm running an intro to handgun or intro to holster, you have to be certified to be an assistant instructor on that range.
That's awesome. That's very thorough. So, and these are all volunteers, right, that are doing this?
Yes. Yeah. I think right now I have 4 instructors who have gone through all of the steps to be trainers. Judy Wells actually is still involved. She used to be the facilitator of the chapter, and kind of right as I got involved in the club, she was wanting to retire and kind of take a role that was a little less time intensive. So she's still a volunteer. She still comes in and instructs for me when her schedule allows. And then I have
wonderful
Kathy
lady,
Smith.
Judy Wells. If you're listening, it's been too long, so send me a message. I can't tell you how much I appreciate her. She's absolutely wonderful.
She's awesome, and she really is the reason that I am in the position I am today with all of the training that I've gotten. And, she really set up some amazing opportunities for me and the other volunteer instructors. She set up something called Train the Trainer. So Tatiana Whitlock and Michelle Serino actually did Zoom lessons with us, helping us learn how to diagnose shooter errors and, how to communicate with shooters and how to help people who are kind of fearful of firearms. So she really has done a lot for us all. And then my other instructors who have done the trainer steps are Kathy Smith and Barb, who I think Barb is actually on board of SDCGO.
Yes, she is. Barb is. She's one of our board members, and she's a fantastic friend. She's absolutely wonderful. Okay, so
She's amazing.
what's the point? What are you guys trying to do with A Girl and a Gun? What would you guys like to accomplish, or what can people expect if they get involved?
We want to provide really high quality education and a fun place to come hang out at the range with other women. So, we want it to be a social aspect, but we also want it to be good education. So our goal really is to get people all the way from having never touched a gun, never thought about guns, until, they're confident and totally safe to be on the range by themselves. So we have a program called Brilliance in the Basics that everyone has to go through. It's a 2-hour class that involves dry fire practice and range time. And then from there, we kind of take them through loading one round and shooting one round. We spend, an hour on the range. And by the end of it, most of the women can lock back their slides. They can unload their gun. They know what they're doing. They feel confident. And so we have everyone go through that program before they can come to any of our more social events.
Wow. Okay, so the idea is to increase gun ownership among women.
Yeah, and confidence. So I think a lot of the women that I see come to the club are lacking the confidence to be able to go to the range on their own. And we want to give them the tools to actually go practice or to invite a friend to go shooting without that fear of, do I know enough? Am I safe enough? We want to give them that foundation so that they can go on and encourage involved in the Second Amendment community.
That's very cool. It is truly rewarding. I know we do, was involved long before San Diego County Gun Owners. I was involved with Women on Target out at Lemon Grove Rod and Gun. 4 times a year, we'd have, 25, 30 women come out, most of them first-time shooters. It's extremely rewarding, men or women. First-time, shooters, extremely rewarding to teach them, to, get them over any, jitters that they have and see the enormous amount of confidence. I can't really think of any activity that, after 1 hour, that someone's confidence has gone up, so much in 1 hour. From the time they've never tried it to an hour later, seeing the enormous accomplishment. I can't think of another another equivalent. I don't, whatever the activity is. I can't think of anything that's more rewarding when teaching first time, folks. It's just really, really fun.
I agree completely. I find it very rewarding.
That's awesome. So, what's the plan? How, are you, are you looking to increase membership? Is that you guys take members, or what are you hoping? What are some goals going into the next 12 months?
Yeah, so definitely we are a membership-based organization, but you don't have to be a member to come check us out. So once a month, I have the Brilliance in the Basics course. We do most of our classes out at Discount Gun Mart on Marina. We really want to just, have more women come check us out, come through the program. But most importantly, we want the women who are interested in learning specific skills, we want to give them those opportunities. So we have, introduction to holster classes. We have intro to competition. We're really trying to give people a wide variety. So we host a trap league out of P2K Sports in El Cajon. And we, dabbled with an archery league for a little while. We just really want to give the women what they want in this space, in the self-defense space.
What if they don't have a gun? Can they still come and participate?
Yeah, definitely. So our Brilliance in the Basics, we always have extra guns, and that's included in the price of the course. And
how much? What if someone wants to get involved? What's their budget? What do they need to set aside or pull out of the piggy bank?
So to come to Brilliance in the Basics, if you're not a member, it's going to cost you $25, and that includes the range time. So you get an hour in the classroom and an hour on the range, and a rental gun, targets, eyes, ears, all the things, eye protection, ear protection. So we provide everything except ammunition. So you'll have to go to the range ahead of time, 10 minutes before class, purchase some 9mm, and then that'll be your only other cost. So probably
very
looking
affordable.
At about $40. Yeah, $40 for the time. And then every event that we have after that, we mostly charge $10 for non-members, and that's a 2-hour class. We run 2 non-Brilliance in the Basics events every month, and those ones are $10 if you're not a member. Very affordable. That includes range time. So the only things that we charge more for are like official courses. If we're going to do intro to holster or, kind of a half-day class, then we'll raise the price a little bit. But we offer, free Stop the Bleed courses through the chapter, and other things that are not specifically firearms related.
And there's no politics. It's just about learning. It's just about socializing. It's about women helping women, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we call it a sisterhood. So it's, come make friends and learn how to shoot at the same time. Kind of can't beat it.
Cool. All right, you're going to stick around for another segment.
Perfect.
I got a suggestion for you. You have to try Leo Fit. Leo Fit is a super high-tech gym that delivers the benefits of 3 to 6 hours of traditional strength training in just 2 20-minute sessions a week. Yes, that sounds hard to believe, but because these machines are computer-controlled, they deliver the maximum weight you can safely handle in seconds. And that's how you get the highest possible return on your fitness investment. Founded by Leo Hamill, the jewelry store fame, Leo Fit guarantees increased metabolism, strength, and fitness in every session. You will not understand how effective it is until you try. 20 minutes twice a week replaces hours of weightlifting and aerobics. Sign up today on their website at leofitlabs.com or type LeoFit in your browser and for more information and sign up for a free session. All right.
All right, we're talking to Dakota Adelphia from A Girl and a Gun. Dakota, my co-host, Action Jackson, who's a competitive shooter at the ripe old age of 9 years old, he's got a joke for you. Is it okay? You got time for a quick joke?
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
All right. Why did the penny arrest the nickel?
I don't know.
Because it was a copper.
Yeah, that's why we keep them around right there. That's the stuff.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I've actually had the pleasure of meeting Jackson before. He's a great kid.
Yeah.
Did he ask you the other most important question in his vocabulary?
Oh, yeah. Ask her your question, dude.
What's your favorite gun?
Good question. Good question.
That is a really good question. I really like my M&P Performance Center 2.0. I use that for competition. I have an Apex trigger in it. It's a really, really nice gun. So I'd have to say that's probably my favorite handgun, but I am a Glock girl. That's what I carry. I have a Glock 19 that I carry. So that's a close second runner-up.
Did you see? I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, I just saw an article where the your M&P, it's coming out in all steel, the whole thing, frame, everything steel. Is that right?
Saw something about that. Yes.
What do you think about that?
I'm going to have to try it, honestly. I'm not sure yet. I think it'll definitely add a little weight to it, which is nice because the version that I have, people do all sorts of fancy stuff with tungsten and all sorts of things to make it a little heavier. But it's already a great gun, so I think a little extra weight will just make it a little easier for competitive purposes.
I really think that M&P is M&P, right? I just had a brain. Okay, yeah. I really think it's an underrated gun. I don't think it gets near enough credit. I know at least one other friend of mine who's a competitive shooter who uses it and loves it. You know, everybody kind of falls back on the same. You know, a lot of people use the Glock 34 for competition. A lot of people use
The 17 to the 34.
Yeah, or CZs are pretty big. But you know what? That M&P really doesn't get enough of what it's due. It's a very good gun. How did how did you get into firearms? You're a very legit interest in firearms. This isn't a passive thing for you. You've jumped in with both feet.
Yeah, I was raised just outside of Chicago, and I think my dad was an Army vet, but we didn't have guns in the house or anything. But I always thought, it's a valuable tool for self-defense, for personal protection, but I just never had really gotten into it myself. And really, I started getting involved when I was at college and had kind of felt like, what if something happens or somebody came into my apartment? What do I have to protect myself? I have no hand-to-hand combat skills. I hardly know if this pepper spray from the gas station would even do anything. I had no real idea of how to protect myself. And so I had thought that it might be a good idea to learn how to shoot. And really very shortly after I got my first gun, I found the San Diego chapter of A Girl and a Gun and Judy. And so that's really where it kind of took off. I've done a lot of training since then. I'm a range master instructor, and I've gone through a lot of different courses, but I still have that same passion that I did. Like the first time that I came to A Girl and a Gun, I was like, wow, there's girls who like shooting too. It just was such a fun feeling for me. And, it's really great that now I get to impart that on other people.
I feel like the firearms industry for decades made an enormous mistake when it comes to women. I hear more and more and more over the last, I'm going to say 10, 15 years, women come into gun ownership and interest in firearms for self-defense reasons. And for decades, it was, here, we'll make this pink. They'll love it, or, they need yet another hobby or interest, we'll make it
Right.
fun, or we'll make it pretty. And that was an enormous mistake, and I think it severely underestimated women. And I'm so glad to see that it's taken a turn and people understand, hey, this is the reason. And it's frankly the reason. I mean, yeah, people get into firearms for sport, hunting or whatever, but it's really, frankly, it's the reason people own firearms, is for self-defense, because that's what it is. It's a self-defense tool.
And that's the majority of the women that I see coming to the chapter, too. They are maybe newly retired, spending a lot more time at home and, just thinking, what would I do if somebody came in my house? We have women from all walks of life, but, coming out of bad relationships and things like that, where they just feel like, having some actual skills and tools to protect themselves would be a great idea. So we see a wide variety of that in our chapter. And I agree. I think the pink it and shrink it concept is very overplayed. And thankfully, I think women are getting a little bit more interested in real guns and full size firearms and learning how to use them the right way. And the men at the gun ranges are learning as well. Hopefully it'll continue on that way.
Heather, did you get into firearms ownership for self-defense reasons, or were you looking for something pretty and pink to...
Definitely not pretty and pink.
You were looking to bedazzle something. That's why you got into firearms.
Exactly. I have a bedazzler. I need to use it. No, I for a while, when I moved out to California from Ohio, I was traveling for sales and I was driving around, and I like to drive at night. And so it would be 2:00 in the morning. I was driving and I kept thinking, I'm by myself on this long stretch of road. What if something happens and I don't have anything? And so then that's when I started thinking I need to get into firearms and get myself a concealed carry. And I kind of kept putting it off. And then I met Adam, and he got me until he took me to the range.
I thought you were going to say you met Adam and then you knew you needed to have a
Yeah.
gun. No, I'm kidding. Adam's a sweetheart. He's an awesome joke. Well, that's cool, Dakota. Now, do you have? I don't want to. I think you're under 30, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I just turned 2 weeks ago.
Okay, well, happy birthday. Would you say that it is unusual in your social circles? You were mentioning that a lot of people that come are, retired or whatever, and, maybe they're empty nesters and now they have some extra time or whatever. They're getting into it. Do you find people in your age bracket, or maybe I should say our age bracket, that are, into firearms, or is it unusual?
I think that there's a lot of people my age who are intrigued, but with social stigmas and things like that, they're not necessarily willing to go to the range by themselves. We do get a fair amount of younger, I would say, 20s and 30s that are coming to a Girl and a Gun, but a lot of them, it's their first time shooting a gun, which I've found very fascinating because I kind of had this image in my mind that most people grow up shooting guns, and I just don't think that's really true here. And so we do have 20s and 30s that come, but I would say that I see very few people in my age range who are actually doing additional training or who are interested in becoming instructors. A lot of the classes I've taken, I've been kind of the youngest one there.
Well, you've taken a lot of training, I understand, right? You've gone through a lot of instructors.
I have, yes.
Who's your favorite? What's your most memorable, and what did you learn from him or her?
Oh man, that is so hard. I was not ready for that question. I took a 40-hour class with Masad Ayub.
I've heard of him, yeah.
Instructor, and that was really eye-opening. It actually wasn't a shooting class at all. It was all about deadly force and the legality and essentially kind of training you to be an expert witness in a trial if you needed to be for one of your students or something like that. And so we did a mock trial in the course, and it just really stuck out to me because it was such an interesting process to see kind of how the prosecutor twisted things and, not even to be political, but just that the jury somebody would have is not going to be a jury of firearms owners, most likely. And so it was really interesting to kind of see how all those things impacted the outcome of the trial.
When a lot of times I recently started to categorize training because in a lot of the seminars that we would give, a lot of the interviews that I would give, I would say, yeah, go get training. And everyone immediately thinks basically what I'm talking about is marksmanship. That's where I need to go learn how to, hit a bullseye. And I think that we're overtrained on that and undertrained on everything else because there's a lot of different kinds of training. There's, the legalities and the ethics of lethal force, that kind of training. There's hitting a bullseye, marksmanship. There's kind of the equipment, what kind of holster and can you use your holster and, that kind of training. And then there's more advanced training like how to move in a firefight, that sort of thing. And everyone concentrates way too much on marksmanship. I think once you've been into firearms, you've taken one or two formal classes, you've gone and trained, whatever, after your first year, basically, a lot of people are overemphasizing marksmanship, in my very humble opinion, and not emphasizing that type of knowledge. So I'm really glad that you picked that as one of your most memorable training experiences, something that's really teaching you an important skill. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. What do you think? Do you think people concentrate on marksmanship too much?
I agree completely. And I think there's very few instructors who are putting out really well-rounded curriculums. John Murphy of FPF Training is one that kind of sticks out. He was actually just in Southern California. I hosted him at Rainbow a couple weekends ago. But his course is about de-escalation, emergency medical, so tourniquet placement, wound packing, things like that. He also has a whole pepper spray segment of the class where you actually get to practice with a trainer, an inert version of pepper spray, so it's just water, but actually getting to practice with that while using verbalization to try to de-escalate and create space. And there's also a shooting element, but it's a smaller portion.
Okay, so how do people find out about a Girl and a Gun? Where do they go?
You can contact me directly. My email address is agag.sdca@gmail.com, or you could call me at 619-629-3344. And you can find information about me online if you Google my name. My Girl and a Gun page should come up. The last name Adelphia is pretty unique, so there's only one of me.
Thanks for watching this clip from Gun Owners Radio. You can watch us live every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, right here on our YouTube channel, or if you're in the San Diego area, you can listen to us on 1170 a.m. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform for free. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can help restore and protect the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.